Hello everyone, welcome back. It is another evening of narration for the Callus Crew Challenge numero dos. I'm here on a Sunday night doing my damnedest to try to keep up with all these games, but there is a lot for me to narrate. I hope you guys appreciate it, because we live in a world where I have a wife that I could be sleeping with, or video games and anime that I could be playing, or pets that I could be petting, but instead I'm sitting behind my computer for the next 3 hours narrating Pokemon games. Please appreciate my dilemma, and the best way to appreciate that would be to donate to the tour, which we really need, to be honest. There's going to be a link to the Discord server in the description. All the donation information is there. It's very simple. It's via PayPal. You click the donation link, you enter the amount, done and done. Another good way to support would be to hit the like and subscribe button, but I really just want to build the pool up for the players. The likes and the subscribes are cool, are appreciated, they make me feel good, but even more importantly, we really got to build this pool up for the players. So let's do that if we're able to. All right, this is Gen 3, my bread and butter. It is going to be Roy Stoproar, also known as Shortage, playing as This Game is Trash on the bottom. He's on Team Lords of Cinder alongside Christos and Tenebrosite, or however you pronounce that. And he's going to be against Beware of Coco, also known as Coco, Pizza Boy Coco, Helpona, all that stuff. He is on Team Enzobanana with Enzobanana and somebody else. So here is game one in their best of three set of ADV. Shortage on the bottom, Coco on the top. Heracross lead is unusual. I don't think it's good either. I think it is not good into multiple common leads. It certainly is not good into Salamence at all, and it's not good into Zapdos at all. But I guess it would scare off T-Tar, and then meta... Most metas are going to live Megahorn. I guess it could be Choice Banded. I don't know. I don't think I love Heracross lead, but it's hard to know without seeing the full team and what the alternative lead would be. I think I might lead Milo personally over Hera. And he is going to get a Swords Dance pass to him. We see that he's not banded. He's got lefties, +2 Brick Break there. And a resisted Hidden Power is going to get a crit. However, it's a Magneton follow-up, and if it's HP Fire, which we now see that it is, that's going to kill him every single time. So it's just flat out a 5-4 advantage for Coco in the early stages of this game. Some kind of 4 ETSS, which never did establish spikes, crucially, for Roy, versus some kind of SD Pass physical team. So I would expect, Meta, Arrow, Salamence, T-Tar, that kind of thing in the back somewhere. Coco does need a rock resist, so maybe it's just like Swampert plus Arrow or Swampert plus Salamence or whatever. Magneton technically resists rock, but for team building purposes, it does not count as a rock resist. And none of those other things do. So it's got to be a proper rock resist in the back. It could be like Meta Arrow or Meta Mence if you're just completely all in on your concept of offense, but I don't know. I guess there's not going to be a Swampert because there's a Milotic probably. So yeah, maybe it is just like a Meta Mence, Meta Arrow, or I guess it could be Magdoll. But there's going to be a proper rock resist, then there's going to be at least one thing, if not both the things, that really appreciate the Swords Dance boost, such as Aerodactyl. Well, sub on Protect is just about the worst possible way that this could go for Shortage. Oh yeah, we're done. 21 turns, Shortage going to concede. Protect on the sub is not what you wanted to see, especially if with this set, Body Slam Fire Punch, he believes that he can't pop the sub, which I believe he cannot unless he gets a crit, which is always an option, but pending a critical hit, he can't pop the sub, and even if you were to pop it with a crit, the Aerodactyl is obviously faster and then could just reestablish a sub. So I think he realizes the trouble that he's in. T-Tar would not love a +2 Earthquake, though I do think he would survive. Swampert must be non-roar, otherwise he would come in, live an attack, and get him out of there. And then who knows what the last one was. I don't know if this is a premature concession or not. Like I said, a roar Swampert maybe gets out of it. Or hell, maybe you just do whatever you can to pop the sub and then you let Swampert deal with it. I don't know. That might have been early, but Shortage obviously not thrilled with protecting on the sub turn. That was not what he was hoping for. And he deems that it's so bad that he's going to pack it in. Like I said, might have been a little premature. Don't know, but that's the decision he made, and we're off to game two. So here we are again. Shortage. This game is trash. Roy, stop roar, whatever you want. He's on the bottom. Coco, Halpona, he's on the top. Standard leads here. Zapdos for both. T-Wave. And a missed Toxic. So advantage Halpona in the early going. And it's going to be a second missed Toxic. Unlucky with 85% accuracy, though of course there is the possibility at any time of a full para, such as on that turn. And Gengar comes in on the full para. Over prediction Toxic. That one hit, but hit an immune poke. And now it is Taunt in case there's rest, which there is not. It is just T-Bolt. It's obviously a bulky Zapdos with how well it's taking those ice punches. Sub 30%, and another full para. And a crit for good measure. What a terrible start for Roy. He misses 2 Toxics, gets fully paralyzed at least twice. Terrible. Man, bad to worse, too, because now Gengar is going to boom on the tar, setting up the Dugtrio follow-up. This is deja vu of last game. It's very early, and it's 5-4 Coco. But Roy is going to go Dugtrio into a Dugtrio that's locked on Earthquake, which is a ballsy move. He better be extremely confident that he's faster. He's got to be a max speed Dugtrio, Roy does, or there's no way you would take that gamble. And even then, it could just be a speed tie, so that was a risky, risky play for Roy, but he might have felt, and he might be correct, that he is behind enough to where he needs to take risks like that, or he is just boned anyway. So what was a 5-4 advantage briefly for Coco has become a 4-4 game, and all of a sudden it looks a lot closer and a lot more reasonable. That awful start for Roy, and it really was bad, has largely been undone. And here we are in a relatively even game, though Roy is again plagued by unfortunate full para timing. There's Calm Mind coming down, and yet another full para. Man, gotta be frustrating, obviously. Ice Beam and full para again. Cannot catch a break. Celebi refuses to do anything. Gets a recover off, but Calm Mind boost favoring Kun, and he's on the offensive with the Ice Beams. Finally, through the full para, he gets a Leech Seed off. He also could have missed that. And that's only kind of going to stall the Kun. It's going to slow it down rather than outright shut it off. The Protect plus Leech Seed combo should eventually discourage the Kun from staying in here. That Hydro Pump, though, does not fuck around. That's 84% and a dead Swampert. So now I guess Dugtrio is going to be the play, and that's going to double back to Skarm. Ice Beam there with a crit kills. I think a non-crit does not. So Coco, if he wins here, which he's looking good to do, that's just got to be a clean 2-0, and we're done. It's going to be a 2-on-3, and there's Kingdra in the back for Coco. Goes for the Rain Dance to be faster than Celebi. Ice Beam obviously coming. 1 crit, 1 freeze, and we are definitely done. And even without it, Shortage is going to have to catch a lot of breaks. That is a bulky Celebi to take only 39%, and that's before it gets the Calm Mind special defense boost. But it doesn't change the fact that just 1 crit or 1 freeze breaks this wide open, and Coco wins 2-0. So he's desperately trying to stall out the rain turns. I don't love that Calm Mind. I think you click Leech Seed there, but he goes for the second CM. Coco has not reestablished rain, nor does he choose to here. He goes to Jirachi instead. Psychic, 4x resisted, only 10% after the 2 Calm Mind boosts. Body Slam fails to para, 60% chance because of Serene Grace. And here is Big Pecker Zapdos. Calm Mind number 3 now. Out of the way. And he's trying to PP stall him out of Psychics, it seems. And we know that's his only attack. Full set, Psychic, Leech Seed, Calm Mind, Recover. Makes sense there's a Dugtrio on the team because this would be utterly blanked by a T-Tar, which, as it turns out, Coco didn't even bring. But nevertheless, Dugtrio is a mandatory partner here. Back to Rachi. And there's Leech Seed. There's Wish and Psychic, sure. So according to this, he's got 12 of them. Not sure if that's an accurate count. I don't believe any of them actually went against the Zapdos, but would have to back up and check that out. Celebi's very boosted. He's got 5 CMs, but you're seeing the problem with this set right before your eyes. This is the only attacking move. Not only is PP limited, but Psychic is not that exciting of an attacking type in this gen. Between Cheetar, Metagross, Celebi, Jirachi, Starmie, many common pokes that resist Psychic. And yeah, I mean, Dugtrio does help with a lot of those, but nevertheless, you do get into situations like this, which is why I don't like this set of Celebi, where even though you are as boosted as it gets, 6 Calm Minds under your belt, very, very boosted, you still cannot break through because your only attacking move is Psychic. A very frustrating place to be. Notice that this whole time, and I don't know if this is good, bad, indifferent, but Shortage this whole time has not attempted to get the Dugtrio in when he thinks the Jirachi is coming in. And it's tricky because you don't want to do it into Zapdos, because when Zapdos Baton passes out, the switch would happen before the BP. So obviously, if you switch to Dugtrio, Coco would just go, okay, I'm not going Jirachi, I'm going to go Kingdra instead. So he has to get it in when the Jirachi switches in, rather than Baton passes in. What he's really looking for, finally, is what just happened there. He's got to snipe the Zapdos with a Psychic on a switch-in. By doing that, even though it did cost him 2 PP, the option to switch to Zapdos and play that nonsense Baton Pass game is off the table. So now, if the timing is right, he can actually... I mean, he could do 2 things. He can wait till he thinks the Kingdra is going to come in, and that'll insta-die to Psychic if he eats one, or he could try to get the Dugtrio in on the Jirachi. So, even though Coco is fighting the good fight here, there is absolutely a world, in fact, it's probably favored at this point, that Shortage, who has been behind for most of the game, manages to make this comeback. Kingdra, Psychic, well, we'll never know, full para, but had it been Psychic there, we're done. Here's Rachi again. Let's do a quick PP check as we're getting a little later into this one. 5 Leech Seeds and a lot of Psychics. 9 of them. I don't know. One of them hit the Zapdos, so I don't know if that's really 9 or if it's 8, but it's still a lot of ammo that Coco's going to have to dodge. He is getting low on Leech Seeds, though. Kingdra Psychic? That should do it. That should wrap it up, because once Leech Seed lands here, Dugtrio is free and clear, and there's just nothing he can do. Celebi can sit in here for a long time, drain a lot of the Rachi PP. Eventually, the Dugtrio will clean up. I think that Coco should concede at this point. Obviously, his prerogative to play it out if he'd like. But I believe this is no longer winnable for Coco. And we're going to go to a 3rd game. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to at least fast speed. I won't go hyper fast just yet, but if they are going to play this all the way out and deal with PP and all that nonsense, then we're going to be here for a moment. And I have so many games to narrate. I don't want to waste too much time with this if this is just going to be a PP stall. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make the executive decision to move this over to hyper fast. I think this game is over. I think there's no chance that Coco can win. So here we are on max speed. There's Dugtrio sneaking in on a Wish turn. Fair enough. Doesn't go to PP, thank God. Glad we didn't go to Struggle War. It is just an Earthquake, that's that. And we are going to move to a 3rd game. So this is going to be for a match win. I believe the other 2 series did already play out. It was Christos. Man, why don't I remember his opponent right now? Ruby Blood, yes. Christos defeated Ruby Blood in RBY, so that's 1 win for Lords of Cinder. And then Enzobanana, which is Enzonana, he defeated Tenebrisite in Oras. So this next game, the game 3 here in the ADV set, is actually going to determine the entire match between these 2 teams. And that's pretty exciting. 1 game to decide who advances to the next round and who is out of the tournament entirely. Who is it going to be? 3rd and final game right now. One more time, this game is trash. That is Roy Stoproar or Shortage, former Callus Invitational main event player ×2, on the bottom against Beware of Coco, a long-time veteran of this game. The Italian Stallion on the top. People know him as Helpona. Coco's fine as well. And Roy has opted for the second time in this set for a Fortress squad, and he has opted for the third time in this set to have a terrible start to his game. Coco has been ahead every single early game. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's luck or misplays or both, but Coco has had the advantage every early game, and it's huge here. Zapdos is dead to a crit Ice Punch. 4, he's taking a nap. No spikes have been established. This is bad. Coco very much in the driver's seat. It feels like Roy Shortage has been playing from behind all set long. First game he tried to come back and couldn't. Second game it was an uphill battle. It was a comeback, but he made the comeback. And this game he's behind yet again. Thunderbolt landing a 20% parry didn't help, and he goes for counter, which don't go thinking he's garbage here. What are you countering that's so bad? Remember how hidden power mechanics work in this gen. Any hidden power, any type, comes back with counter rather than mirror coat. So had the Jirachi gone for hidden power grass there, which it may or may not even have. We know the full set now. We actually now know that he doesn't have it, but that's what he's playing around. Had he gone for hidden power grass, that actually would have been countered back. So I don't love the play because we already knew that ice was there. So you are saying that the set is Ice Punch and HP Grass, which is not really a thing. So I think even though it wasn't like completely idiotic and he did know the mechanic and he did know what he was going for, he wasn't trying to counter HP Fighting there, guys. He was trying to counter HP Grass. But the likelihood that HP Grass was there, I think is actually pretty low given what we already knew about the set. So I don't like the play, but not because I think he didn't understand the mechanic. I think he did understand the mechanic and still made a questionable play. All that being said, we've got ourselves a 5-5 game. Jumpluff is dead and Zapdos is dead. And we've got ourselves a 4E mirror, meaning it's 2 special tars here. Best thing they can do to each other is crunch. And they're both running the same set, actually. They're both running counter, fire attack, whether it's flamethrower or fire blast is irrelevant. Crunch, pursuit, which is weird. I don't hate counter tar. I've used it or had Jabba use it a handful of times. I think it needs a pretty particular set or team to go with. The problem with it on this kind of team, think of what you're countering most of the time. Like, let's say you're leading the T-Tower, which one of them did, one of them didn't, but you're leading the T-Tower in Coco's case, and then you're against, like, a Metagross, for example. It Meteor Mashes you, you counter it, it dies. That's great. The problem is teams with Pursuitar, 4 teams, but teams with Pursuitar in general are super duper relying on the Pursuitar to remove Gengar. So if you take that counter trade, if you eat the Meteor Mash to kill the Metagross, and there is a Gengar later, you don't beat it anymore. Now you're so low from that mash that you can't just come in on Will-O-Wisp or Thunderbolt anymore the way that you could before. It'll just Thunderbolt you twice and kill you. It'll just Thunderbolt you and HP Grass you and kill you. So now Gengar is alive and well, and you're probably fucked. Because if you're running Pursuitar, your team is obviously weak to Gar to begin with, and you're trying to remove it. So I don't love Counter Tar on this kind of team for that reason. I don't think it's the worst thing in the history of the world, but I question it, especially if you are leading the Tar, which I don't like to do. But in this case, Coco's team, I don't know. I might have led Swampert or Moltres, but I don't hate Tar. Establishing Sand early on does have merit, so you don't get fucked by something like Snorlax. Let's get back to the game at hand. So what has happened here? We have no spikes, which neither one has a ghost, so these spinners can spin freely, and they can both sit here and lefties up as they're gonna. The Rachi got frozen, but it's at 100%, and it's got a lot of time to thaw. And then everybody else is kind of chilling. Tar at a hundo, 86 pert. Moltres kind of low. The Rachi is frozen, as we said, but it does have Wish, so we can pass that to his friends. On the other side, we have a Toxic Milo who hasn't shown anything but Surf. Very well may have both Recover and Refresh to deal with that problem. Tar is paralyzed but otherwise healthy. Swampert at 100%. And Blissey, very healthy, has only shown soft-boiled Ice Beam, but she may also potentially have Wish to pass that to the boys. And maybe not. I mean, sometimes it's just Toxic Bliss on this kind of team, but Wish is something that she could have in this position. Man, this one has the potential to go long. If the Fories are just going to sit there and stare at each other and just spike rapid spin back and forth, there's going to be zero progress made. Fory, as you guys know, being the steel type, obviously is gaining lefties through the sand, and rapid spin is doing dick all. And Milo does have both recover and refresh, as we speculated it might. So yeah, they can sit in there for a long time, and no progress damage-wise is ever going to be made. Rachi attempting to thaw out a couple turns here, which I think is a good play. It's pretty safe against Milo. It'll have a lot of opportunities. Roy tried to go for Pursuit there, which would have done, like, okay damage, but nothing exciting. But it was a full para, so it never got off. And now Tar on Tar, and neither of these special Tars have HP Grass, so they are doing exciting things to each other, such as 12% crunching or 20% fire blasting through paralysis. There's a 17% crunch. The T-Tar for Roy seems to be hitting a little bit harder, so I don't know what the EVs are in both cases, but in any case, the Tars are just not going to get very far against each other. Milotic seems like a poke that Coco is going to have a hard time breaking through without thawing out the Rachi. The Rachi can beat it. He's immune to Toxic, and he can sit in there and Calm Mind up and then eventually just get him with a big Thunderbolt. But until the Jirachi thaws, the Milo is pretty damn safe for Roy. The issue that I'm seeing with Roy, not just with this particular game state, but really with the entire team, is a lack of win cons as a whole. What advances the game forward here exactly? Was it supposed to be this Zapdos? I mean, the double water team here, it's not a Curse Pert. It's almost certainly not a CM Blissey. And if it is a CM Blissey, let's get going with those CMs. It's a Pursuit Tar. Yeah, I guess the plan is grind them out, but I'm not a fan of that structure. There's got to be something here, whether it's CM Bliss or Curse Pert or Aerodactyl somewhere, Aerodactyl over Zapdos or whatever. There's got to be something that can actually move the game forward, and Roy doesn't seem to have that. So this could take a hot fucking minute. Neither one. These are two very defensive, do-nothing-ish teams, maybe less so in Coco's case, but it feels like Coco has all the time in the world to eventually thaw out his Rachi, though I would like to see him be a little more aggressive in trying to do that. He should stay in here and try to thaw. And he does, and he's successful at that. So Rachi is back in action. It's at 100%, and he's got a wish floating, and he's going to give that wish to the Fory. Toxic there misses, but it doesn't matter. Fory obviously immune. And we're back to this. I think we might be looking at 100 plus turns here pretty comfortably, guys. The spikes are never going to stick, and that's a weird Swampert switch. That could just die here, right? Yeah, I guess he was trying to pass with the wish. Fair enough. But yeah, the spikes are never going to stick for either guy. There's no ghost, there's active healthy spinners, and there are not enough things on either squad that threaten the spinners. Obviously, Fire Blast or whatever fire attack from Coco would absolutely eviscerate the other Fory. I was just about to say, but these guys will never let that happen. Coco was prepared to let that happen. That would have been a massive throw. Had Fire Blast connected with Fory there, this game is done. Shortage would just have the 3-0 spikes advantage all game, and Coco would get snowballed thereafter. He's not out of Fire Blast, right? Nope, he's sure not. That was just a really bad, really loose play for Coco. Never, ever should have remotely allowed that. Wanted to give the game away there. Wanted to absolutely give it away. Fory gets hit with Fire Blast, and we are absolutely fucking done. That play was terrible, but he gets away with it. And we continue on. It is Moltres here. Pretty low. I think that's like the only low thing in this game, but maybe it'll catch a wish later. Ice Beam, sure. And Thunderbolt. Is it last move Calm Mind? Maybe. It'd be so good if it were. It could just be Toxic or Seismic Toss or Wish, but a man can dream, and I'm dreaming of Calm Mind. Here's Rachi. Back to Pert, sure. Fire Blast, sure. It's got to be a grind, boys. Playing a little GSC here in ADV. It is going to be a grind. I feel like Coco should be more aggressive with his Rachi. What is he afraid of? Rachi can just win the game. That's the biggest takeaway. I mean, I enjoy chatting about non-Mon things here. Fun stuff, but let's be real for a sec. Why isn't Coco just going to his Rachi, combining up, and making Roy deal with it? Milo never beats it. Surf, Recover, Refresh, Toxic. No chance in hell. Fori doesn't even have Explosion, but Earthquakes are going to not do the trick. The tower does have Fire Blast, but he's only got 5 of them. He's paralyzed. The Calm Minds would negate them. He would need to, in one of those 5 Fire Blasts, hit and crit through the Calm Minds. I mean, I don't know. I would take my chances. Swampert is the only thing that kind of sort of stops the Jirachi, but you're going to have a lot of chances to click Ice Punch and get a freeze. And then this set of Rachi this has been shown time and time again. This set of Rachi beats Blissey. Unless it is also Calm Mind Blissey, then it gets messy. And if she shows you that she's Calm Mind, fine. That changes the dynamic. Maybe we go for a new game plan. But even then, you're more likely to freeze her than she is to freeze you. You freeze her, you switch to something else, you get her out of there. Bottom line, if I were Coco here, I would absolutely be pushing the issue with Jirachi. Because where we are right now, they are chit-chatting in the battle chat about a draw, which is ridiculous. This is not a draw. It's not fun to narrate, and probably less fun to play in real time, but this is not a draw. This is not even close to a draw. Let's be real. I don't know. I mean, this is my tournament, so I guess I set the rules, but I don't know what the rules are in each other tournament, official tournaments, Discord tournaments, whatever, about draws, but, like, I don't know. Like, I do respect the argument that players should be able to generally do whatever the fuck they want, but, like, at the same time, is this really a draw? Like, does that kind of fudge the results when they choose to draw here and this, like, really shouldn't be a draw? I don't know. It would not feel or smell right to me if they agreed to a draw here, because I see a path to victory for either player, and this feels like a game that, if played out, even if it isn't fun to play out, should end and will end the old-fashioned way at some point. Now, we are 114 turns in, and might still be here for a minute, but I stand by my belief that this is not a draw, and one of these guys will win the old-fashioned way, and it shouldn't even take 500 turns. It might take 200, but we will get there at some point. I say again that Coco this whole time for the past 50, 60, I mean, we've been in this 5-5 situation for a very long time, like 80-plus turns, and Coco, for a very long time, should have been, and still should be, just Calm Minding up and forcing the issue with his Jirachi. I don't like the Ice Punch there. I would have Thunderbolted. You don't want to freeze the Fori because of the relatively newly implemented freeze clause. If you freeze Fori, then you can't freeze the Pert, and you need to freeze the Pert or you lose. That critical hit for Earthquake actually matters because it would put it in range to die to another. But now Shortage is not able to predict the Moltres in, which easily would have gotten donked there, even by the 4x resisted bug. The thing was so low. It was like 2%. But it gets Wish, and now that's healthy again. Out of the way, here's Swampert. We'll see if Coco is patient enough to play this the way it needs to be played. It's going to Okay, never mind. That should end the game. See, this is why it's not a draw. Losing the Jirachi should speed this up dramatically. Jirachi was the win condition for Coco. I don't think Coco played this game stellarly, if that's a word. I think that he should have been pushing the issue with the Jirachi the whole time. And I also think losing or risking losing the 4 to the Fire Blast earlier was silly Billy. But yeah, I don't think either one played well. I don't think Shortage's team is very good. I think it's too do nothing, and I think it's antiquated. And I think neither one played aggressively enough. And I think Counter Tire is a weird set on both these squads. And I think Coco should have not risked the 4 and absolutely should have been pushing the issue with the Jirachi. But here we are. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Lots of stuff I don't agree with. The bottom line is, with that Jirachi dead, it's very difficult to envision Coco winning this game anymore. Moltres now falling as well. And that's going to be it. I believe that the game was effectively over the second the Jirachi died, but we play through the motions, and it is going to be Shortage taking it down. So like I said, that is going to be a match win for the Lords of Cinder. That's Christos, Shortage, and who the hell did I say earlier? Tenebrosite, eliminating Team Enzobanana. And that'll be that. So, lots and lots more narrating. Gonna spare you the long outro. Please do join the Discord server, link in the description. If you want to see all this stuff live, catch all the replays, blah blah, hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you've not already done so. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.